When Elijah saw how things were, he ran for dear life to Beersheba, far in the south of Judah. He left his young servant there and then went into the desert another day's journey. He came to a long broom bush and collapsed in its shade, wanting in the worst way to be done with it all, to just die. Enough of this, God. Take my life. I'm ready to join my ancestors in the grave. Exhausted, he fell asleep under the long broom bush. Now here's a man who just beat 450 people. Defeated them. The greatest victory he ever experienced in his life. And one woman scares him so bad. He takes off running and he goes by himself. And he wants to be dead. He don't want to live anymore. That's serious. Now, when I was battling depression over probably, I said over 20-something years ago, 21 years ago, I went to see a counselor. I preached that if you need help, you need to find someone. And so I had to practice what you preach yourself. And so I went to see a counselor. Started out weekly, then it went bi-weekly, then monthly, then every 6 months, and then he said, okay, you're ready to go now. And until this thing happened with Gwen, I had not really seen him that much. But when this happened, I called him again. I said, no, it's been probably 20-something years since we saw each other. But I need to be able to function in this situation that I'm in. And I want to make sure I'm thinking correctly. Okay? And so I need to see you. And of course, he said, come on. And he did. He started seeing me once a week. Then bi-weekly. And then he said, I believe you're ready to go. So, but this is one of the things I learned. It's a little acronym. I've used this before, but there's some people here this morning never heard this. And if you've heard it before, write it down again. Because if you don't need it today, somebody might need it in your life if you don't. It's an acronym called H.A.L.T. H-A.L.T. Everybody say H-A.L.T. Don't get too hungry, H. Don't get too angry, A. Don't get too lonely, L. Don't get too tired, T. I want you to look at this text. He's afraid for his life. He goes alone into the wilderness. That's one of the things that happens to people who are battling emotional, I call it emotional overload. That's the way I describe it these days. It may not be depression, but emotionally you just overloaded. Okay? And what we tend to do is we get alone. And even though that feels good to the flesh to get alone, that's not really healthy for you. Amen. You need somebody. You don't need everybody. Well, I got Jesus, and that's enough. That makes a good song, but it's terrible theology. Because that's not in it. It doesn't back up by Scripture. Every time God used somebody, He used a person to be a blessing to somebody else. Every time. So get over your pride if you need help in an area. Now, it don't have to be emotional. I'm talking about emotions this morning, but it could be in any area. Any area that you need help in, get over your pride and find somebody that actually has a good grip on that. If I wanted to learn how to pray, if I wanted to, I know how to pray. I talked to Gloria. I talked to Cheryl. I talked to some people who pray, who know enough Scripture to pray right. Sometimes you can be praying wrong.